Okay, so let us start the class. In today's class, so I'm going to explain the difference between static variable and class variable. Okay, means static class both equal, class variable instance variable. Static variable, class variable both are same. So today we will try to understand class variable, difference between instance variable. Okay, and so many topics like static keyword. Okay, I will explain one by one. Huh? So first of all, let us come here, click on show and run commands. But here actually click on create Java project, no build tools. So I am using a desktop PC computer. So if you are using mobile, my dear students, don't panic, don't feel that you if you don't have a laptop, a desktop computer. So nowadays we can do the coding in mobile. Okay, so the mobile has a very strong processor, microprocessor, that is called octa-core, 8-core processor, quad-core processor, 4-core processors. Okay, it has very speed clock, some 2.6 gigahertz, like what you know. So the mobile can be used to code, write the coding. Okay, so you need to simply download. I will show that. I will explain. First of all, come down here. Here, click on C drive. This is my folder. Okay, under this folder, create a file. Just to type today's topic is what to try to understand. Today is what? Today is 5. Today is 5. Okay, file name. we need to keep the file name as today topic static difference class. Okay. Okay. Somewhat class student. Okay. Today class name is equal student. Huh? Student. Okay. Now enter. So then a file will be created. That file is stored in your maximize this one. Okay. Now come under this source, a default app.java. You rename this one as okay student. Okay, now enter student.java file. This is our source file. Click on this one. So now this is your source file, student.java. As I told you that change the class name as file name, class name as file name. Okay, what is our file name? Student. Okay, student. Okay, now your class name equal to your file name, that is .java file. As I told you that this is the source file. Okay, the source file, whatever the lines of code, that is called object code. Okay, so now come here. So now here today our topic is what? Topic, try to comment, single line comments, 2 forward slashes, difference between the instance and class variables. One is this topic we need to cover today. Next is what? Differ the instance and class variables. Static keyword. We need to deeply understand static keyword. What is the role of static keyword? Okay, this is one more topic we will need to understand. So I told you that what, if you don't have laptop, otherwise computer, you can write the coding in mobiles. Okay, initially I started to teach in mobile, okay, to write the coding. So I think 1,000 lines code I have written in the mobile, both Java and Python. The code I have sent to a lot of students whomever have attended my classes. If any, even though if they have not attended, still I have sent the code to them. Okay, so that apps I want to explain, that is called mobile apps. Okay, that is what mobile apps. for mobile app for Java. Java, that is what JV Drive. JV Drive. Download from the Google Play Store. Huh? For Python, Pydroid 3. Okay, Pydroid 3. So these two apps, JV Drive for Java and Pydroid 3 for Python, download from Google Play Store in mobile, and you can write the coding. Okay. So now come down, try to understand what is the difference between instance and class variables. Okay, first of all, what is instance variable? Instance variable means okay, it is accessed by object. It is accessed by object. Okay, means we need to create the object to access instance variable. Okay, suppose if you want to access instance variable, these are called object variables. Okay, and public variables, and different names are non-static variables. From different names I will explain. Non-static, okay, non-static variable, and object variable, object variable, public variable, public, like so many names are there. Okay, so instance variable, they can be accessed only by the object. So you need to create the object first. Okay, in Java, 3 variables are there: instance variables, class variable, local variable. Okay, in Python, 2 variables: global variables, local variables. But in Java, 3 variables are there: instance variable and class variable. Okay, local variables also. Local variable. Okay, now, so this is what instance variable. Whenever object is created, so that moment memory will be allotted for the instance variables. Okay, when object is created with the new keyword. Okay, when object is created with the new keyword, then memory allotted for instance variables. Memory allotted for instance variables. Okay, so next, class variable. What is my class variable? These are all called as static variable also. Static variables. Okay, so class, if any variable declared with static keyword. Okay, if any variable declared with static keyword. Okay, static keyword. If any variable declared with static keyword, so it is the class variable. Okay, so these class variables and the instance variables, they will be declared inside of class, inside of a class, and outside of the method, and outside of the method. Okay, so outside of the method, who will declare outside of the method? See, inside of the class means this is class. You declared your class name is student. This is the main method. I told you that. So outside of the method means, okay, now in between. Okay, inside of the class, so you need to declare the class variable or instance variable inside of the class and outside of the method. Okay, so now let us see, to access the class variable with static variables, no need to create the object. Okay. So to access class variable means static variables, class variables, no need to create objects. Okay. No need to create object. So we can call it with the class name. We can call them with the class name. Okay. So for the class, whenever object is created, so whenever object is created, so means whenever object is created, that moment memory will be allotted for class variable at one time. Okay. So for class variables, class means both static also. Class variables, memory will be allotted at only one time. Okay, only one time. So means whenever your object is created, so that moment whenever the class is, so whenever you compile, so the student class will be loaded. Okay. So by class loader. So that moment the memory will be allotted for the class variables at one time. But for instance variables, so instance variable may have many objects. Instance variables may have many objects. Okay. Many objects, more than one object. Okay. Many objects. So instance variable may have more than one object. So for every object, whenever one object is created, so for that object and instance variables means object variables, memory will be allotted. So suppose if a school has 500 students, how many students? If a school has 500 students, okay, these 500 students, how to, if the 500 students has different name and different IDs, college ID, whatever. So 500 students of a college. So these 500 students have some name, different unique name, different name, ID, unique ID. So these will be called as instance variables. Okay. Whatever the common property, suppose college name is common for all the students. So that college name common property will be considered as a static variable, mean class variable. So now declare. Okay, now declare. First of all, now here the student has a name. So that is a string type of data. Okay, name of the student is equal to. So you have just declared. Okay, now come down. One string type of data, variable name is name of student. So next is what? One int type of data, that is what is ID. ID of was student ID. Okay, student ID. Two variables I have declared for this student class. Now these two are called class variables. Sorry, instance variables. Instance variables. I told you that why class variable will be declared with the static keyword. Class variable when a common property. Common property is what? Student name may be different. Okay, unique. Sometime maybe same name like Srinivas Rao, Venkat Rao, Subba Rao. In the class maybe two Subba Rao, two Rahuls may be there. But ID will not be same. ID means user ID, student ID. That may be somewhat different. Roll number. Okay. So these are considered as instance variables, which are unique. Now, one more string type of data I want to declare here, that is college. Okay. Variable is equal to college. Just I have declared, I have not assigned any value. Now this college, that is the common for college name. College name, that is common for all the students. How many students? 500 students. So 500 students, college name is common property. So that will be declared as static, as a class variable. So whenever you call this as a class variable, means static keyword if you keep, means that is a class variable. To access this class variable college, no need to create object. But for this ID and name, we need to create the object. Okay, let us see how, what will be happening here. So now come down. Now here, I have not assigned any values to these. I told you that the default value for the string is null, for this integer 0. So let us try to get the default value for this. Then we will create that. Copy here. Okay, now paste here. Paste. Now you pass the value of variable as an argument here in println statement. This is a method I told you that you pass the variable name. I told you that this println method is the method of print stream class. This is the method of what? Print stream. Okay. Now, so now if you can get, that is the null value here.
I will download it.
So what I'm asking that
I
you,
download it my brother's phone, sir.
okay, no issue. Listen the class. After that, you download JVDride for Java, PyDride 3 for Python. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
I'm using VS Code, Visual Studio Code 6. This is called Visual Studio Code 6, IDE, Integrated Development Environment, for different purposes, different programming languages, C, C++, C Sharp, Python, Java. So all in one, we can run the code, we can write the code. Okay. So in
Okay, sir.
code, first of all, you need to click on show and run commands, click Java, create Java project, no build, click on no build tools. And even your C drive, I have only drive, select the folder. This is my folder. So now here, put a name. Today's name is what? Teachers or teacher not. Let us take a name for class. Any take. Today is JS Jaya. Jaya is a class name. Okay, today. Okay. So Jaya,
Okay.
it is a folder now. So within this now folder, now within this folder, okay, we need to create the rename this your, this is what your today's class and Jaya now. Okay, Jaya.java. Okay, now click on this. This is the file, maximize this one. Now your file name is equal to Jaya.java. So this is your class. I told you that always your class name must be equal to your file name. So this is your Jaya class name equal to file name. So now I told you that whenever you open any file in Java, these two lines, this default. Okay. So if you will not get them, even though in your PyDride, that is JVDride also, you will get these two. Okay. So these are called, one is class, one is the main method. I have briefed in the last class about these two. Okay. Means Saturday and Friday classes. Today we are going to discuss what, this much of where I was discussing this total. Okay. Today's class, I was discussing this much of, okay. Now try to understand here what is happening. Today, I want to discuss instant and class variables. Okay. Instance and class variables are what? How to differ the instance and class variables and local variables in Java. So, and static keyword also I want to explain today. So, I told you that for the mobile apps for Java, if you want to write the code for your mobile, JV write for Java, PyDride 3 for Python. So, first of all, try to understand instance variable means it is accessed by an object. Okay. So if you want to access instance variables, you need to create the object only. So these are called also non-static variables, otherwise object variables, sometimes public variables. So whenever your object is created with the new keyword, okay, then memory allotted for instance variables. So once object is created with the new keyword, so in memory area is allotted for instance variables. Okay. So what about the class variable? They are also called static variables. If any variable declared with static keyword, that is called your class variable. Okay. So inside of a class and outside of the method, these variables, class variables and instance variables, they will be declared inside of the class, outside of the method. So to access class variable, we need not to create an object. Okay, only for the instance variable we need to create the class. For class variable, no need of creation of the object. We can call them the class variable with the class name. Okay, for class variables, memory will be allotted at only one time. Okay. Whenever class is loaded, so that moment memory will be allotted for class variable only one time only. But for instance variables, every time object is created, so memory will be allotted for every because class variable, okay, instance variables may have many objects. Okay, instance variables may have, sorry, this statement is wrong. Instance variable may have no class may have many objects. So class is only one class is there, but the class have many objects. So whenever every object, like what you know in your college or school, 500 students are there. So 500 objects. Every student has a different name and different ID, roll number. So for every student, I need to create an object. Okay, I will explain all the things. Huh? Why it is giving error? Your file name is equal to Jaya. So you change this as Jaya student. Okay, you Jaya. Okay, Jaya C. Okay, now. So your file name, class name equal to your file name. So that is okay. Now under this comment section, instance variables, I have created two variables. One is that name, student ID or roll number. So these ID is what integer type of data, and the student name is equal to string type of data. But I have not assigned any values to them. So now then after college name is common property for the students because student has unique name, ID, roll number unique, but college is common. Chaitanya College, okay, KISS Engineering College. So that is common property. So that common property called your class variable. Okay, you comment here class variable, and one more identification. This is class variable. Class variable always declare with the static keyword. Okay, why? Because static keyword means the class variable we need not to create the object. Every time you create the object means for that object instance variables, these are variables. So memory allocation is compulsory. So for you increasing your 500 students data you are creating, so you need to you need to have more memory. But for instance, class variable, memory once is allotted. Whenever that class variable is loaded, so created, so once object is created, so for this class variable, memory is allotted at one time only. But for these instance variable, every time object is created, memory is allotted. So for managing of instance variable, more memory we need. For class variable, once memory is allotted, so after that, no need of memory. Okay, this is okay. Now try to understand that how to access these variables. Let us see. First of all, I have passed word name. So name, it is giving word error. Why? Because cannot make static reference to the non-static field. I told you that this name is what instance variable. Instance means non-static. It is a, we need to create object here. I told you that if you want to access these variables, instance, we need to create the object. So first come here, object with the class name. Class is Jaya, and then object name. Take any name of your any name, X, Y, Z. My name, you also you can take. So this is the syntax. Okay. New keyword is, as I told you, whenever you create a put a new keyword, so your object is created. So now what happened, now you can access this variable name with the object name. So object is what, obj dot. Okay, obj dot. Okay, now so if I told you that once variables are created, if you have not assigned any values with the is equal, then you need to, so this is what null value. So if you have not assigned any value, its default value null. So its default value 0. Its default value 0. So now you check back that from here, you compile the code. You click on this. Now you continue this. Where is that? It is taking time. So this is the C, null value. What is this null value? This string, I have not assigned any value to this variables, instance variable. So it's initial value, that is called default value null. So what about that, this integer? If you pass, if you access this as, where is that? Object name ID, object name ID. So now you will get the 0 value here. You will get the 0 value. Okay. 0 is where, see, in place of here, you need to get the 0. So this is the initial value. So who will update these values? Because you have not passed any value to value. Okay. You have not passed any value. So now here we need to create, as I told you that once this, where is that object is created, why do I need to, this is, I need to remove this one. Okay, this is copied. Okay, now try to understand here. Now what happened, once your object is created, okay, so whenever object is created, so that moment these variables memory is allotted in heap memory. Heap memory is a area where object is stored. Okay, now let us see what happened, how these values will be updated by creating a constructor. So constructor, what is the syntax for constructor? This is public and class name. Class name is equal to Jaya. Okay, now Jaya is a class. This is the constructor. Constructor is a special method. After that, you need to put braces. Now here in this area, in this parenthesis means brackets, we need to pass the parameters. Parameters were local variables. I told you that now I am going to explain local variable now. So here I will explain the local, create the local variable. Local variables, same string, okay, name, comma, and int, comma, ID. So now what happened? These are local variables I have created. Local. variables. Local variable. Local variables are what? Local variable declared inside of a method. So this is called your constructor. Constructor, main constructor, main class. Where is your main class? Main class constructor. Okay. So main, this is your main class Jaya. This is the main class, but I have changed class name as Jaya. So this is the main class. Okay. Main class. Main class, always class name must be capital. Now this class changed as Jaya. So for this class, this is the constructor. So constructor nothing but it is a special method. A special is a constructor, a special method. Okay. Special method. Special method. Method means always it has brackets. Within that brackets, I have passed two parameters, that is what string. This so now these two are local variables because they declared inside of the method. So this constructor is special method. So now I want to write because these to be updated. These to be updated. How let us see how they will be updated. So here I'm going to write simple code. So this keyword I am using here, this dot name is equal to name. It is indicating what you know, this keyword, because no, this is what local variable. This is what instance variable means public variable. So I want to differentiate. So how can I recognize by this keyword? This keyword, it refers to the class variable, means this variable. Okay. Class variables means instance variable. So this name, this indicate the local variable. So now what happened? Same for that is also for what? One more, that is what this dot. That is what your ID is equal to ID. ID is equal to ID. Now what happened? Try to understand. Now, if I pass the values, where should I pass the values? Here I need to pass the values. For this, what is that? Name is equal to what? Student name. One object is created within the, this is what? This is default constructor. Default constructor. So what is the difference with this constructor and this constructor, main class constructor? So this constructor, it is up to your choice. This constructor up to your choice. But this it is default constructor with the object. Once object is created, along with this constructor will be created. Whenever object is created, this constructor will be called. It is your choice. It is your choice. So now within this constructor, if you pass the values for name, what is their name? Student name. Student name is a string. So string is what? Suppose Vasu is a string, and ID is comma. Suppose some number, roll number. This is what. Now these values pass it to whom? Here I will explain. So now see, if you one minute, you copy this one, you paste here. Okay, now this is what you paste, name plus ID. Okay, now let us see. Now if you compile this code, what you are getting here, try to understand. Two values you are getting here. One is that 5566. This is where you, in this your main method, you want to access obj.id. ID is what? Your class variable. Sorry, instance variable. Because now I told you that instance variable means class variable which is declared with the static keyword. So that is what your common property. Common property means college is common for all the objects. Objects here, objects are what? Students. Student has a unique name and unique roll number ID, but the college is common. So that common property declared with the as a class variable with the static keyword. Okay. Now, see, I have called that ID instance variable with the object. I told you that instance variable will be accessed with the object name. Okay. Here in this constructor, I put a word name plus ID. So that name plus ID here, Vasu, these constructor, these values, whenever I passed the arguments here, these are parameters. These are parameters. So whenever for this parameters nothing but they're the variables. So once you pass the values, they're called arguments. Whenever method is called, you pass that they are the arguments. Now these arguments will be passed to your local variable. Okay, local variable name, for name Vasu, for ID 5566. Now local variable is equal to your instance variable. Now these values passed to here. So this will be updated. I have not assigned any value here. How they are being updated by the constructor. Now try to understand what is happening here. So here they are looking some word Vasu, string and number both are looking beside of that. So if you want to, you need to keep some word that is separators here. Okay, some word separators. So now you will get what this is. Where is that? There is no any separation here. So you need to get some word separation. That is in between, you put some word, this type of double quotation marks, then you will get the separation. So now see, there is some word separation between them. So now, so if I want to get one more object, so one more object, you create one more object like that, 3-4 objects you create here. So the further 3-4 object, so different value you pass here. Okay, every time see. Now this is one more object, student, one more student details. So here you need to pass somewhat another student name, Ravi. Ravi is another name. His ID is somewhat like this. Okay. For the third object, second object, this is one more student name. Here you pass, his name is Suman. So Suman. Okay. Suman is another student name. So how many objects I'm going to clear? Try to understand. These are some, it was somewhat ID, his name is somewhat like this. So now, okay, now if you call them, so what happened? Let us see. So how many records? One is Vasu record, is student name. Another one is Ravi, his ID number Suman. So 3 student records I have created. Means 3 objects. Object 1, object 2. So 3 objects I have created. So every time whenever object is calling, so that moment these variables, what instance variables are loaded into the computer's memory. So means memory is being more memory we need. But whenever I want to call this, suppose here I am going to add college. So college, once I have passed the college, that is as a class variable. So this class college name will be added with the, here I need not to pass the college name again and again, but every time I need to change the records. Was student name, his roll number, ID number. This is, so here I need not to pass the college name, because college, once college is as declared as a class variable. So once memory is allotted, that will be copied, that will be shared with all objects. So let us see, that will be shared with all objects. So what is that? College name. Why? Because,
Sir, your voice was not audible, sir.
okay, what happened? My voice is not audible. 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me check that. So sometimes you are getting voice. Sometimes you are getting. Are you getting my voice sometimes? Actually, see, loud. Everything is loud. My mic is okay. Mic settings or what? How the mic is? You are in the mobile signal strength. Otherwise, you have that is fiber net. You have. Now, how is my voice now? Are you getting? Everyone. Are you getting my voice now? Are you getting my voice now? My voice is clear. How you are getting my voice now? Actually, I think no, that is what problem. Your signal strength is not well, I think. How are you getting my voice now? Okay. So how no sir. Why? Are you in mobile? Your signal strength is weak or your mobile your mobile your mobile strength is okay. Okay means your mobile signal strength. Your mobile strength is okay. No, sir, your mobile signal strength is okay. Okay, sir. But why you are not getting proper signal? That is one story. Okay, you do one thing, no? So, okay, we do one thing, no? So, the class, I think you are not in proper position. You adjust your position, huh? Okay, now okay, sir. Okay. So now try to understand that what is happening here. Uh, as I told you that three records are there, but that is a string value, the college name, college ID, na? So you have passed college, but college we have not passed any value. Once we need to pass the value, college name is equal to, it is a string. College name is equal to what? KISS Engineering College. Okay. Is simply KISS Engineering College. So whenever once you pass it the value as KISS, this will be shared with all objects. So no need to write here for every after every object. You need not to write KISS. No need. Okay. So once you declare any variable as a class variable with the static keyword, that will be shared with all your objects. Okay, let us see, compile this code. So this is every object, every record was every student along with ID number, college name. Okay. See the difference, try to understand. For every object created, I have passed as an argument student name, student ID. I have passed, but I have not passed as argument college name. Once I declared the college name. So understand that is called, that is a class variable. So that class variable can be shared with all the objects, all the objects. Okay. So now come down. Next word, how to, suppose if I want to uh, change this college here, simply you write the, I told you that this class variable will be accessed with the class name. So class name is what? Jaya is my class name. Jaya is my class name. Jaya dot. Okay. What is our college name? College equal to, you change the, you change, you know, it is Space Engineering College. Okay. Then what happened? Now your college is in one line of code. Your college is changed. It is to be terminated. Huh? Now in place of kiss, you will get pace. So see, so that class variable can be changed single in one line of code. Suppose if you have 500 students, as I told you that how many students? 500 students, you need to create the object. 500 objects you need to create like this. 500, every object after object, you need to keep the name and ID number. Okay, no need to keep the college name. Once you have passed college name declared as a class variable in the static keyword, so that variable value, class variable value will be shared with all the objects. That is the difference between a. So I told you that the local variable, by the help of local variable, these values pass to local variable. Okay, and local variable is equal to your, that is what your instance variable. By this keyword refers that. So these values pass it to this name and ID. Then after, they will be updated. They will be updated. Okay, this word. Now try to understand. Suppose if I want to create a method, if I want to create a method here, simple user defined method, that is you called user defined method. What you user define, the method is there, user defined method. Okay, so how to create the user defined method? Simply you public, okay, public keyword and static. Why do you need static? Let us see. Void and method name. Method name is what? Take a method name, details. Details are what? Student details. Method will be suffixed with the brackets. Then after, you brace. Okay, now come down. Within this, suppose if you, this is one method. So under this method, if you pass this, you copy, you cut, you copy, you paste here. Okay, then what happens? See. Okay, so now what happened? So now how this method can be accessed? How this method can be accessed? Here simply you call that method with the object name. Okay, so what is your object is called? Object is called what? Obj. So, okay, obj dot details bracket, next terminated with the semicolon. Okay, details, obj dot details. Where is that? This is obj, one object is created. Details, details. Okay, now once you want to call this method as object method, that moment no static keyword. Remove this static keyword, because always object method only have public keyword only, no static. So whatever that zero you have passed, remove this zero. Okay, now if you call this one, now what happened? See, this much of, you are getting this much of code. So if you do one thing, these values are passed here. You remove this constructor. Under the constructor, this is the constructor. Under this constructor, you could keep this line of statement as comment section. Okay, now under this constructor, only local variable created, and you differentiated that these are the local variable is equal to your instance variable, class variable, whatever. So now there's no any print statement here. Now this is the method. Within this, you have passed the values. Okay, now you want to, whenever you call this method details, this method is public method, means non-static method, non-static object method. So how you are calling, that is what object dot details means. I am accessing this details method. It is a public method, means non-static method. So by the object. Okay, so now what happened? How many records you will get? Okay, how many? Only one record. Why? Because why you will get only one record? See, only one record, because you have called that method once. Okay, so if you want to access second record, one more time you need to call. Okay, you copy this one. Here I am accessing that with the method name. Okay, with the I am accessing the details with the. Now you change object one. How many objects I have created? I told you that class may have many objects. Class may have how many objects? Here error is y. obj1 dot details, obj2, obj y error. This is what object two cannot be resolved. Why? Because y object two cannot be resolved. Okay. Details. Okay, you keep it in comment section, no issue. How many objects I have created? So two objects, the output of two objects I have gotten here. So this is what this is called. Suppose if you want to create 500 objects, so now the objects, the methods called by the object. So that now this method is your public method, not static method. Okay. Now, if you want to call this method, this I told you that we need to understand what static keyword. So I explained the difference between the instance and class variables and local variable. What about the static keyword? Static keyword will be declared with the class variable. Okay. And static keyword also declared with the main methods. So in the main method, static keyword is here, means no need to create any object for the main method. Okay, this main method can be accessed as a static method without creating the object. So here this is the built-in method of Java. So this is my user defined. I am the programmer, Vasu, my name is. So I have created this user defined method name is what? Details, and its name is equal to public. Okay, public means this method is object method. This method is object method. Now if I want to access this method as class method, I need to keep static keyword here. Static, so means the static keyword can be kept in front of class variables, in front of the methods. So now this method can be accessed as a class method. How? Let us see. It is giving error because you have declared this as a static. So now you can call this method as, okay, simply you call this method with the class. What is your class name? Your class name is Jaya. Okay. So for this you will get the error, but this you can access this method as a class method. This is what class method means. Static method. Static method means class method. So now with the class name I am accessing now. So let us try to get that. What is happening here? So it cannot make a static reference to the non-static field ID. So in which line? 46 line is error, because here where is that? You comment these two methods, you want to call them as object method. So now only one, that is what you are calling that method as a class method. Now see what is happening here. Okay, still cannot make a in 35th line. 35th line, where is that? Because you have declared under this constructor, you have declared the constructor. This is the constructor. So once you have declared the constructor, so surely you need to pass the value arguments. So that moment these to be, that's why it is not giving you. It is very means class. I have explained. Okay, you can access that method as a class method with the class name. Okay, now remove the static keyword, because these methods we are accessing the method as with the object name. So now try to understand. So these are okay. So what is the meaning of static keyword? Static keyword can be kept with the class variable if you want to declare which the property, common property with the student, that is college name, that is common. Okay, So that moment, if you declare any class variable as a class variable with the static means, that moment memory will be allocated only once. So memory will be managed efficiently for the class variables. For instance variable, every time object is created, because the class has many students, every student is an object. Student has different name and different roll number, father name, like what you know. So that moment, once you declare the class variable with the static keyword, so that property value will be shared with all that objects. Okay, that can be changed simply one line of code also. Okay, now that is okay. Now try to understand that. Next is what I want to brief. I told you that these variables declared inside of a class and outside of the method. Where is your method? This is method. Constructor is also method. So the out of the constructor, two instance variables, one class variable declared. Okay, now come that this is constructor, this is method. There is no difference between this. Constructor is also a method, this is the user defined, but the difference is that constructor that will be created with the object. Whenever you object created, this constructor will be created. Constructor means the parenthesis brackets. It is